With these two set up, we can use these data tables and turn them into decorators. So to create a decorator, let's right click, go blueprint class. If we hit the drop down for all classes and type in DEC, we will get some decorator nodes coming up. We want a rich text block image decorator. Select that. I'm going to call this decorator underscore windows. Entering the decorator, we can now hit the drop down and select Windows. So our data table is talking to the decorator. And now if we pop over to our HUD and select the interaction box here, and we hit this drop down here to add a decorator, we can add the Windows 10 decorator. We're going to do the exact same thing for the Xbox data table. Blueprint class, DEC, rich text blocks image decorator. Select that decorator underscore Xbox. Hop into that, hit the drop down and select Xbox. Compile and save. And for completion's sake, I just called this PlayStation. D underscore. Don't use D underscore for your decorators because that would be confusing. We know that this is a data table because we're only using D for that. You could even call this data underscore if you wanted to use D for something else. Right click, blueprint class, DEC, rich text block image decorator. Select decorator underscore PlayStation. Yes, you could have absolutely duplicated them, I realize now, but that's okay. We've got them set up. Series X will be a decorator of Xbox, and PS5 will be a decorator of PlayStation. We're almost ready to go. These are rich text blocks, so we're going to need to give them a standard text style. So the names that we put inside of our data tables, these names we can now use to access these images. If I was to go over to HUD player and punch in the right name, then that symbol would pop up. So let's set that up. In the event graph, we're going to create a custom event. And that event is going to be set interaction text. This event is going to have one input, and that input is going to be text again, and we're going to call that text to display. So we're going to set the rich text block of whatever our platform is. So let's get our game mode. Because we don't want to be casting every single time, let's make a reference to that game mode, cast to GM underscore tutorial. Now it's called tutorial because I will be using one game mode for this. If you had different game modes, it might be better to put this in game instance, but the game mode is fine so long as you aren't making a party game. And if you're making a party game, I don't know why you'd be doing an FPS RPG tutorial, but hey, that's all right. Everyone's welcome to learn. Let's right click, promote to variable, reference GM, or even better, game mode. With our game mode reference, we can drag that in, holding control. Then, off of that, get platform. Over here, we have three options for our interaction text. Drag in the interaction text for all three of them, because we're going to use the platform to select between them. We're going to set text, which is now attached to Windows 10, but let's drag off of that and select. So we want to select between any of these three based on, you guessed it, plug that enum into the select node. And now, if we are running Windows 10, we will plug into Windows 10. Let's just do that connection again. If we are running Series X, then we will plug into Series X and PlayStation 5 into PlayStation 5. The text goes from text to display. Bada bing, bada boom. A little bit of cleanup. And that's our set interaction text. Let's create another event, custom event. This is going to be called clear interaction text, and it's going to do the opposite. We don't need to select necessarily, but to make the code identical, we can also do that. Grab our interaction boxes, and this time we're going to set text, but we're going to set it for all of them because of a hack I'm going to do later. I'm going to type in make literal text off of this, which is just going to be empty. So it's literally just going to set the text to nothing, which is exactly what we want. So our two events are set up. Where do we call those events from? Let's start with our weapons. We want all the blueprints that require interactions to talk to our HUD. So let's go over to weapon base. Inside of weapon base, when it's time to pick up a weapon, what we used to do is make a print string when we began overlap. And when we were done overlap, we would say goodbye. No more. We have a hero reference. And off of that hero reference, we have a HUD reference. And from that HUD reference, we can call set interaction text from here. Now, there's no point making a reference directly to our HUD from our hero, because if our hero dies, the HUD would die with him. So if we want to purge our character, this is the easiest way to do it. Let's get rid of that print string. You might think I'm just going to plug this in and go pick up item. I'm not. This is going to get even cooler in just a moment. Off of text display, we're going to plug in an append. If you remember appending from strings before, this was how we could add different lines to our string. So I'm going to plug in this guy right here. He's going to convert back to a string, which is just fine, because we need a string on the other side. I'm going to add a pin, and I'm going to create another variable. This variable is going to be called weapon name. We haven't needed to name our weapons until now. We're going to make this a text variable because it's going to be required as text later on as opposed to a string. Let's drag weapon name in. Let's get that, plug that in there. And here comes the coding part. So on A, I want you to type in the following sequence. Hold shift and press the key next to M for a left facing arrow. Then IMG space ID equals. And then hold shift again, put a quotation mark as if you're about to quote someone. And here we need to type in the exact name of whatever we called our action reload button inside the data table, all the way back there. So I just called mine action / reload. It needs to be exact. It is a coordinate. It's an address. So action / reload. Then at the end of that, we're going to put another quotation. We're going to put a right facing arrow by holding shift and hitting the key 2 over from M. And then we're going to do a left key again, a / and a right key. This might look familiar to anyone who's coded a website before. Essentially what we're saying is get the image that is stored with this name, and then this is finishing us off for that script. So this is old school scripting. Well, I mean, I'm sure people designing websites probably still use it now. So that is what we're going to do. Weapon name is going to be populated from our weapons in just a moment. So let's compile and save that. We're getting a warning, which is coming from, I haven't saved my HUD. So let's compile and save that, and then compile and save this again. So not compiling and saving over in the HUD created that error. Let's grab our hero reference HUD. Bit of a mouthful. Get rid of this print string, drag off of this and type in clear interaction text. Compile and save that. Back to the test map. Let's open up our weapons. Let's open up our assault rifle to start with. And there's weapon name, assault rifle. So I'm just filling in the weapon name here with the default values under class defaults. Compile and save that. I'm going to do the same for the pistol. Weapon name, class defaults, compile, save. Shotgun. Sniper rifle. And rocket launcher. I did forget one step back in our weapon base, and that was to fill in the B category under the append. Here I want you to type in a space, then pick up, and then a space at the end. Compile and save that. Now let's save all. and see how that works. Hitting play, I'm going to walk up to not the assault rifle or the pistol, because remember I've got them both equipped. Let's walk up to the shotgun. And there you can see, because I'm on PC, Unreal Engine has detected that I am on PC, and you can see that it said E to pick up the shotgun. And I press E, and I'm good to go. If I was to walk up to the sniper rifle, I would get E for sniper rifle, and because I said that clear text, when I walk away, it clears the text. So there it is, it's good to go. But how do you test the console prompts if you're not on a console? Let's do some hack script. Let's go to Blueprints, go to Core, open up B_Hero, and set ourselves a little code to switch between them. Up here where we hide all of our secret code. In this case, I'm going to use the G key. And I'm going to get game mode. I could put this casting on event begin plane. I might just do that for if we need to reference the game mode again. Cast to GM_tutorial. Promote to variable, reference game mode. At the end of add to viewport, we're going to create that reference. Can clean that up later, and then with that reference we are going to set platform. I'm going to do this with a flip-flop for now because I've only got 2 programmed at the moment. As I said, I'd do the other one off screen, and I'll catch up with you probably in a later tutorial just to show you what that would look like if you wanted to do all 3 platforms, but we're already running out of time, so for now I'm going to do a flip-a-flop. I'm going to grab this, and we're going to switch to Series X when I hit the G key, just as a tester script so that we can see that our Series X buttons are working. And you can do this for any platform you want. And remember with flip-flops that when you hit it the first time, A is going to fire first. So make your second platform, whichever platform you're not testing on, the first option. Like so. Compile and save that. And then back over to the HUD, let's go and set up that interaction box because we haven't set that up yet. Let's go to standard text style for interaction X Series X. Make sure the decorator is still Xbox, making sure that our interaction box has actually landed in the right spot. It hasn't, it's currently hiding down here. So let's copy those values over. We've got 0, -300, 100, and 40 doesn't matter for size because we're sizing to content. 0 and -300. Make sure we do the same for our PS5 box. Compile, save that over to the test map, hit play, hit G. So now we should be on the Xbox controls. We stand over here and we have X to pick up shotgun, as would be on our platform. Walk away from the box, press G again. Now it's E, and if I had the PlayStation buttons set up, then it would be square eventually. But because we are running out of time, I will leave it there for now, and we will come back to this later on when we actually create a tutorial specifically for our player to go through, like a training room or a training level. This is going to come in super handy.